Hey everyone, just wanted to do a little video 2 weeks into Little Orbit's adoption. There have been a lot of updates and I cannot put all of it in the little shorts that we do throughout the week for you guys. So this is just a check-in 2 weeks in to talk about some of the quirky things that have been happening in the bird room. So Onyx, Omelette, and Orbit have definitely settled into the new three-bird starling dynamic. This weekend, I was watering plants. I do that every Saturday in the bird room, and I had a pitcher, and I'm going from plant to plant, and Orbit was following me from each plant. He would get down at the edge of the pot, and he would watch the water pour into the plant, right? He was fascinated with it, and he started poking at the dirt, and I thought it was fun and games and that it would be quickly lived, but since then he has fixated on one plant, one of my airplane plants, and he's picking it apart. So I'm gonna have to take that plant out of the bird room. I don't care if he picks at the plants a little bit, but he's doing some damage to that plant. The poor plant is suffering, so it's gonna have to come out for now. I've never had a problem with Onyx or Omelette touching any of the plants. And they're all bird-safe plants. I made sure to get plants that I knew were non-toxic to starlings, you know, for the very fact that I want them to have those for enrichment. But this guy's digging out plants like, you know, like he's gonna plant something himself afterward. He's clearing the ground. He's tilling the land, you know? It's also really interesting to me that Onyx and Omelette were raised together, right? Since they fell out of a nest as babies with their eyes closed. So they've always had each other, even when I was busy with work or kids or, you know, other things, life. They had each other. So they're very bonded and they get their comfort from each other when nobody else is around. Well, I'm starting to learn where Orbit gets his comfort from when nobody's around. And I know his first human mom, Marissa, used to play rainforest sounds and R2-D2 sounds. There's like a whole playlist curated for Orbit that, you know, these are sounds that he loves and they have brought him comfort. And so we've worked in a lot of sounds into the bird room that weren't there before. And I just got done this weekend building a playlist with the birds. Like I was out in the bird room on Spotify with the Bluetooth speaker, figuring out what they liked, you know? So we found some good songs to add to their rainforest sounds and the other sounds that they have. We have also curated like a bedtime routine. So Orbit still sleeps in his cage and he loves his little condo cage. All day long, the door stays open and he's in and out of there. That's where he prefers to drink his water from. I've noticed that he drinks out of his own water bowl. He doesn't share with Onyx and Omelette. Although he will go share the fresh chop. You know, I started putting fresh chop in his little condo thinking I'll give him his own portion and he can come in here like he does with his water and he'll eat it. But it would just go bad. He wasn't touching it in the food bowl. But he'll eat the chop out of the main bowl that Onyx and Omelette eat out of. So just interesting, you know, they all have their own little preferences about things. I thought that was interesting. Orbit is slow to adapt to the chop that I make. I mean, he eats a little bit here and there, but he really does like his pellets and his mealworms and crunchy hard stuff, which is interesting because my starlings like soft things. Something else really exciting that happened this week with Orbit after his adoption. Actually, this is exciting for Onyx and Omelette, but Orbit is the reason. So I've got a couple of tables set up in the bird room, right? And they've got these baskets and all these foraging toys and perches and sticks and paper to tear and shred, you know, all the things. Orbit has been the only one out of the starlings brave enough to traverse those tables. And not only does he traverse them, but he's kind of made them his spot, which is cool. I love that there were parts of the bird room that were open for him to claim. Like Onyx and Omelette did not want to go in that cage. They still don't. And they haven't been touching the tables. So he knows, like he's got 3 points of contact in the bird room. He can be there and he doesn't have to worry about anybody like bothering him or flying in. Like they don't even fly that low, that direction, you know? So if they take off flying, he'll just hang out because he knows they're not He's figured out their flight patterns in the bird room. And it's interesting. He's developed his own flight patterns in the bird room. Like he's got certain trails that he travels to go from A to B, and he's got certain patterns that he likes to do it in. But he's all over the floor too, so you really have to watch where you're walking now. And I always make a point, I mean, when I open the door to go into the bird room, the birds flock to me. So I just make a point to look both ways, so to speak. I open the door and I stick out an arm because I know birds are going to be on it within a second or two. But the really fun thing about the tables is Onyx and Omelette decided to touch the table the other day. I could tell that they were really interested in what Orbit was doing on the table. I had some snacks and I was hanging out with them, and they were already on me. Onyx and Omelette, they were on me. So I squatted down next to the table and Orbit was playing and they started snacking, and then Onyx like touched on the rock and he touched on some of the sticks that were there. Orbit is good for the other starlings because he's pushing them outside of their comfort zones gradually. Most of the time they just watch him and think, this guy's got to be crazy, right? He's all over the floor, he's in the tree, what is he doing? But in this case, I'm starting to see it pay off. I have been hoping that Onyx and Omelette would get brave enough to touch and enjoy some of the other things in the bird room, and it looks like we might just have some more of that to look forward to. Moms might understand this, but this has been an interesting change in myself. So I work during the week, Monday through Friday, and I have an alarm set for like 6:30 in the morning, which is sooner than I need to be up, but I like to hit snooze. You like to hit snooze? I like to hit snooze. Anyways, on the weekends, I have an alarm set for later in the morning. I know that that alarm will wake me up. If nothing else, I'll be up by that time to feed the birds in the morning because, you know, they're hungry in the morning. Since bringing Orbit home and knowing that he's sleeping in the cage at night, he lets himself in and we sleep there because it's dark in the bird room at night and I don't want him to get injured. But because he's in his cage, and I know this, I mean, as soon as daylight peeks through my curtain in my bedroom, I am awake every weekend and I am ready to go let Orbit out of his cage. First thing I hear is always, Orbit, 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 Orbit. He's in his cage, ready to come out. That's his good morning, Orbit, I'm here. Hello, Orbit. It's so cute the way he says his name. Honestly, it's cute the way Ami says her name, and Onyx too. I love that they all use just their own names. Like they don't say anybody else's name but theirs. I think that's so cool. It's funny because it's like I have a newborn baby again. That's what I was going to say. Moms might understand this. When you bring home a baby from the hospital, it's like every little sound wakes you up and you're not tired. You just get up. It's like, you know, it's instinct. Internal clock changes and you're just hyper aware. Well, that's kind of how I feel having baby Orbit in the bird room. Like now when the sun peeks through on the weekends at 7:30, I am up and I'm grabbing my pitcher of water to go fill up their fountain, and I'm grabbing bowls to get their food, and it's just, I just thought that was really interesting. So that's been the change in me. And then there have also been changes in my kids. So I have 4 kids. And my 2 little girls, Brexley and Briella, have just really, their passion for birds, it was always there, but it's really been lit on fire having Orbit in the bird room because he's so interactive and he's so fearless and they just love it, right? His energy is contagious. They ask all the time, especially the 4-year-old, the little one, Brexley, Mom, please let us know when we can go out to the bird room next. I'll get on my sandals. It'll be quick. Let me know. And they'll come, can we go to the bird room, Mom? It's been a little while. Can we go back out there? So it's awesome to see them so excited about spending time with the birds, and I love it. And we've been practicing on how to handle birds and how to treat birds, and it's very different than the big rough and tumble boxer that we have in the house that they're so used to interacting with. You know, working with birds is a totally different thing, and each species is very different. Starlings, they are high energy. They don't want anybody touching them. It's been really fun watching my 4-year-old get more comfortable with the birds and learning to let them come to her, for instance, and don't chase, you know, like he thinks you're chasing him. You don't think so, but when you come up to him really quick like that and he wasn't looking, that's a chase. Like, it's been just a wonderful family bonding adventure bringing Orbit into the bird room as well. I have never seen my girls so excited to spend time with all the birds. It's not just Orbit, but he kind of started that spark recently. Okay, so we'll talk about poop. Starlings poop a lot. And I wondered if I would notice because, you know, after I set up the bird room, it just became so much easier to clean up after the starlings. I've got paper under all of their, you know, favorite perching spots. And so most of the poop is accounted for and planned ahead for. And you just take out the paper, wipe stuff down. You know, it's easy. It's easier to clean up in the bird room than it was in their cage when they had a huge cage and I was trying to get in there and scrub and clean. It was a lot more difficult. I wasn't sure if adding a third starling would make a huge difference on the poop scale, and let me tell you, if Orbit wasn't so brave and adventurous, if he wasn't into everything, I don't think I would have noticed. But because he goes in so many different places than Onyx and Omelette, I notice. He's got poop on the tables, he's got poop in the plants, he's got, you know, poop in places that I haven't had to clean, frankly. Like, they have not been poop places. So we're adjusting to that. But all in all, it still works out with our regular cleaning routine. It's not going to cost me anymore having another starling pooping in the bird room. You know, same with the food, really. It doesn't cost me anymore. I still prep the food in bulk. 50, 60 days worth of fresh chop made ahead of time so that I could freeze it and thaw it out in portions. The one change with their food that I will be making, this next batch of food that I'm making, I got mini muffin tins to add to the regular muffin tins because what I realized is their portions are usually 1 muffin tin worth of fresh chop. For 2 birds, that was about perfect. Onyx and Omelette would always have some left over, but there wasn't a lot of waste, and I was really happy with that in a day. Snacks on top of that, but that was their main food. Well, 1 isn't enough for all 3 of them, but 2 muffin tins is far too much, and I'm wasting more bird food than I want. And I'm just dealing with the waste. It's fine. But the next time I go to make bird food, I'm going to make the big muffin portions and I'm going to have mini muffin portions frozen up so that I think about 1 full size and 1 or 2 of those minis is going to be perfect for the 3 of them as far as like a daily portion. So I'll be able to adjust that in smaller doses with less waste. When you adopt a starling, you get to know them gradually, which is weird because my other 2 starlings, I feel like I know them inside and out. I know all of their personality quirks. I know all of their favorite things and all of their buttons that you don't want to push that irritate them. You know, I understand them so well. And Orbit, it's been such an amazing process learning him, learning what he loves and what he doesn't like and his favorites and his coping skills and, you know, just all of the things. He has these moments where he just gets super silly and he wants to play with his swing, right? He is obsessed with the swing that his first mother sent him. She sent a toy and a swing with him in his little travel cage. And I did not know the obsession with the swing, but it has been fun learning. He has kind of a love-hate relationship with it. Well, he'll play and do loop-de-loos and attack it and cuss at it. He'll do like bird cussing. Like I'll show you some clips of that. He also really loves the swing. So I've moved it around to a couple of different places in the bird room, trying to find like the right place. And right now I've landed on the table, the square table. The swing is mounted to the table and he can actually run along the table and then hop up on the swing or hop down, or it's pretty fun to watch. So it's safe to say that 2 weeks into having Orbit, we are happy. Everything is going so well. The adjustment process was easier than I expected just because of Orbit's personality and his lack of fear. Onyx and Omelette have warmed up to him. Onyx is definitely Orbit's role model. Like out of Onyx and Omelette, Orbit is always fixated on Onyx. Like he wants to see what Onyx is doing. And it's funny because Omelette kind of fixates on Orbit. So it's like there's a bunch of unrequited attention happening. But it seems to balance out. Everybody's happy. Appreciate you guys watching our videos and following along in this crazy European starling journey straight from our bird room to you. We appreciate everything. We are still a very small channel. Video content is very new for me. I make all of the videos myself, and you know, it all started with the passion to share the love and the joy that I get from spending time with these birds in this bird room with others. We could just slow down and appreciate the animals and nature a little bit more. we will all feel more fulfilled and more happy on a regular basis. And I know, because these birds have done that for me. These birds have changed my life in all of the best ways. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you on the next video.